Hi Ian, hi David, thanks for joining us. Hi Roger. Quite far away, Roger. Just going to wait a couple of minutes until it's 1 before we start. Thanks Laura. Can you hear me okay, Laura? Hi David. Yep, we're a mixed farm, sheep, cattle and some arable. Just give everyone a couple of minutes just to join in before we get going. It's nice to see everyone joining from varying parts of the world, which is lovely. Just give another minute and we'll just start bang on 1. Hi Evie, good of you to join us. Okay, so that's 1 o'clock now, so I think we'll just get going. For anybody that's joined us today that doesn't know me, my name's Jo, and my husband and I and our family farm at Logie Farm in Newborough in Fife, which is in the central belt of Scotland. We have a mixed enterprise. We have around 500 acres of ground and we rent some more acres on top of that. We have cereals, predominantly cereals grow wheat, and we have a vegetable rotation. We have around 550 breeding ewes, and we have a small herd of Charolais cattle. Sorry, I'm getting quite distracted by the fact there's multiple messages here, which I will address. There's some questions about adopting triplets, and I'll deal with that when we go around because we've actually got some triplets in. So at the moment I'm in the lambing shed. I'm just going to turn the camera around. So we lamb everything inside, and then when they're strong enough they go outside. This year is uncharacteristic, shall I say, in that it is extremely wet. We've never had a spring like this, and we are having to change things up quite a bit this year, in that we are normally within 24 to 40 hours of the lamb being born they would be going out to the grass. This year we're doing everything we can not to do that and try and keep them in sheds until we get better weather. We at the moment are losing out in the fields possibly around 10 a day. So we're bringing in as much as we can, but there is only so much space. We still have around 150 left to lamb. So obviously we've still got a very active maternity ward, and yeah, it's a bit of a juggle. So let's go around. I'll answer as many questions as I can as we go. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So this is one of our main sheds. You can see here, I'm just going to slowly bring around to see it's quite a big shed. Many years ago, this farm was mainly used for fruit and potatoes, so this shed was used for storage. So you can see here we're fortunate to have this space, and with the weather outside, very grateful for it, for these lambs. So on this side that I'm just focusing on just now, This is the side that we deal with all the singles. So we scan in January, and at that point we separate the flock out to singles, and by that I mean a ewe, a female sheep that has one lamb in her. Then we separate that out to ewes that have 2 lambs in them, and there's a separate section for ewes that have multiple, so 3 or more. The reason we do that is, first of all, to help us at this time of the year with the lambing, but also we feed them differently, we care for them differently. We wouldn't feed the sheep, the ewes certainly now that have 1 lamb in them, we don't feed them too heavily, because the last thing we want is a massive single lamb that we then can't get out. So you can see here, we've had to adapt this pen. We don't usually have this. The area on the right hand side here is a creche pen, a nursery pen, and these pens down here are our maternity ward. And the little space at the back is the ewes that we have left. Right at the back here is the ewes that are left to lamb. So normally the way it works is they go into the big pen and they would lamb in the big pen. They then would come down here into the maternity ward, where they get at least 24 hours just one-to-one with their lambs, which avoids any kind of poaching scenarios from other ewes that might be feeling broody, or just lambs getting lost in the big pens. It really allows them to bond, and allows us to check and see if there's any problems. By problems I mean possibly ewes not got enough milk, lambs struggling to feed, just any issues here. And then once they're strong enough, they would normally go into a creche pen for another 24 hours, which is what we're looking at just now. The reason we do that is it replicates what they'd be doing in the field, and that they were going in a flock, so it allows the lambs to practice finding their mummies in a controlled environment before we put them into the big open space of the field. So you can see here that most of the lambs are with their mums, or their mums know where they are, and it's safe and it's dry for them. So normally we would be doing that for, say, another 24 hours, and then they would be going out. You can see how this little guy is quite happy. As I said, with this weather, it's completely unprecedented for us. If they go out, I think they have a 50-50 chance with how wet it is just now. The ground conditions are terrible. I'll show you a little bit outside what we've done. We've made some shelters for the ones that are out. The bigger, stronger lambs in the sheltered fields are coping better. It's quite a nice time at the moment of the day, because with it being lunchtime, everyone else has gone in for lunch. There's nothing major going on here. Everyone's got full bellies and they're just relaxing. So you can see these girls here are quite content. They're all expecting, and we just keep an eye on them. We're fortunate again, we installed cameras a couple of years ago into the roof of the building, so we can watch them all the time. So it's great when we go in for lunch, things like that. We've still got cameras on them to double check we don't miss anything. Now, obviously, we try not to intervene. You know, Mother Nature. There we go. Mother Nature is. We obviously try and keep everything as natural as possible, but there are ewes obviously that do need a hand, and we want to be there. There's only a set amount of time for us to obviously intervene should they need help, particularly as these girls, these ewes with 1 lamb in them just now, as they go on, the lamb's only getting bigger and bigger, which for us then signals there could be a trickier birth, particularly for your first time mums. So you can see there this ewe here, she's got purple tags. Our purple tags sheep in her ears this year mean that's a first time mum, a gimmer. So we know with them they're likely maybe to need a bit of a hand. So again, just keep an eye out. So if we move away from the singles just now, I'm just going to run the camera back round again, because it's quite handy that we're up in the passageway just now to get a look. So this large area in the middle, we're about about 3/4 through our lambing now, is normally full of all the twins. They would go in here, we'd have a smaller pen down the bottom for anything with triplets or more. What we've had to do is we've bunched up. Everything that's still left to lamb is in the very bottom section down here where there's 2 ring feeders. They're all left to lamb, and we've joined up any ewes with pairs or triplets in them. So these areas here that you're looking at here and here, these are creche pens that we've made, again just very similar to what's happening at the singles, to allow the mums to practice, and sorry, probably more so the lambs, to practice finding each other amongst many. It'll be what happens in the field, but they're staying in a lot longer this year. We will not even be thinking about putting them out until maybe the weekend, because they're just too little. The weather's too bad. So I'm going to take you out. We're going to go down into those pens. I was toying with, should I show you actually what the weather's like, but I'm just going to be honest. So if you just bear with me a second. You can see it's extremely wet. We've got some ewes and lambs up the top there. And I'll maybe just show you while we're actually outside. We have been trying everything possible to protect the lambs that are out, certainly the smaller lambs. So what we've done is we've moved the bale trailer and some of our cattle feeders into the field, you can see it there, to try and offer a roof over their heads. The problem still remains though is that the grass is very, very wet, but you can see there's lambs under them, and at least gives them some shelter. We've also put the trailer out. You can just see it over there. Again, to try and offer the best shelter we can. We're doing everything we can. So just thought it'd be worthwhile showing you that. But we'll go down back into the sheds. If anybody's got any questions as we go, please do ask. So yeah, we're just going to pop into this middle shed now. There we go. So you can see here that I'm feeling very grateful that I'm in, never mind the lambs. But yeah, these guys are far safer in here. One of the reasons that we do like putting the ewes out so quickly, as well as to make sure they get the best milk on them. You know, hitting the spring grass really brings out the best in their milk, following their colostrum, which is the first milk. Again, it's not something we normally do have them in so long, but as you can see with the weather outside, a lot of these lambs would just perish. And we make our own hay, so they're getting obviously hay and haylage, and they're getting a concentrate feed as well to support them. There's also mineral licks in. See here, these guys know nothing about it and are extremely happy with life. So this is a pen of pears. Sorry, my screen, I'm struggling to get it back in because my hand's wet. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. Okay. See that little guy's quite comfy there. Yeah, and you can see, I mean, these lambs are all perfectly happy. It's not ideal, it's a bit overcrowded. It wouldn't be, we'd normally just have maybe 5 in a creche pen. But if it's between that and putting them out, this is what we're obviously doing. And you can see they're fine. They don't normally, they won't go out in this pen until their tails have been banded and they've been marked. And any males in the commercial flock have been castrated as well. It's quite a simple process, and once they're strong enough they get their number on, and that's when they come into the creche pen. So it's all done very much in stages. You can see the ewes, for example, there's one with 93 on her side. So we know, with us we use numbers for anything that's got pairs in them. So by that I mean 2 lambs. So in the field we can identify that if it's got a number, that ewe should have 2 lambs. If it's got the alphabet, we know it's got 1 lamb, and we do a T if it's triplets. You can see on this little lamb here, she's got a blue spot just on her shoulder. That's just a marker that we put on them as well to signify that's a girl. just it makes it easier for us, certainly later on when they get bigger. Roger's saying to me, how many do I estimate will be born this season? We were hoping, I can't speak for other farmers, but certainly on our farm we were hoping for between 800 and 900 lambs. At the moment we've lost about 30 because of the weather, and we just continue to hope and pray that this weather will pass. Like I said, we've developed other areas in the farm and adapted them very quickly to try and keep these sheep in. And you can see here, these are just the maternity ward. So as I said before, the yows would just come into here with their newborn lambs, and they get that time just to mother up in peace and quiet, uninterrupted, and really form a strong bond, because that's what you want. We don't want them going out into the field mismothered, and it does happen. So it's always quite a bit of work to do in the morning here, because when we're moving lambs around, because these pens do fill up quite quickly, the pens obviously are mucked back out and then disinfected as well, and then new bedding down again, so it's always quite a job. But you can see these lambs are doing what they should be doing, feeding off their mums, getting time, and not having to deal with the weather outside. Now I just spotted here that there's a yow here that's just lambed. I think she just lambed her first one. I'm just going to move the camera around. You can see there. She's just lambed now. She doesn't have a red spot on her back anywhere, so that signals to me that she's having two. So we normally do a red spot on the shoulder for a single lamb, no spots for two, and on the top of the tail, I haven't got many of them left now, on the top of the tail if a red spot means three. Just moving the camera back a second. You can see here this yow's got red just more on her tail. That's a marker from tupping time, that the tup would have had that, and that signals to us that red was one of the last colours. We'd work it like a traffic light system. So red is one of our last colours, so that would signal to us that she was one of the later tupped yows, so it would be right for her not to have lambed yet. It doesn't always work like that, because obviously it's Mother Nature. You can see here, these are the yows. Just like I said, we've bunched these all together to make more space inside. These guys have all got 2 or 3 lambs in their tummies, so they're getting quite heavy now. This will be us well into our 3rd week of lambing. This is Susie. We've done... Hi Suze. I don't have any treats for you, so you'll be annoyed. We've done Lambathon now for a couple of years, and Susie's featured in most of the videos. Susie's our oldest yow here on the farm. She will be 8 coming 9, and she is from a long heritage of a family that's stemmed back generations on the farm. This year we didn't put her to the tup. She has been an amazing yow, but she's getting older and it would just be too much for her. So she is staying on the farm, and she's going to be a nanny to our orphan sheep, which will be great. She'll show them where to go and what to do, which will be really helpful. Just going to nip back here. You can just see here. And we're just going to nip in and just check this lamb. What we like to do is when they lamb, is to spray their navels with an iodine solution. The reason that we do that is simply to try, first of all, to dry up the umbilical cord as quickly as possible, because the iodine will naturally dry it. But secondly, to keep that area hygienic, because it's the only real exposed part of their body, and as you can see, it's obviously lying on bedding, which the yows are obviously peeing and pooing on, so it's just to try and prevent infection. Hello. Oh, you're just out. Oh, what a big lamb. Yeah, it may surprise you, there should be another one in there. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and balance this. Oh. Sorry. You can see there, just spray the umbilical. And I'm going to I don't want to get in the way of anything. can see there, this mum's a great mum. She's white tagged in her ears, so I know that she's been here for a few years, and she'll have been a mum before. You can tell that she knows what she's doing. You can see that's one of the best things for lambs when they come out, is the mum cleaning them up. It really stimulates the blood flow all across them, stimulates them to get up. It's great. And on horrible days like this, when we're losing lambs outside and it's pretty tough going, to be honest, even just to keep positive, things like this do remind you that there is good things and good things to come, and we'll do our best to protect all of these lambs. Right, I'll let Mummy get on with that. And I'm not, if she hadn't lambed the other lamb within, say, 20 minutes, we would likely catch the ewe up and just see is everything okay. Sometimes we do find they get a bit distracted with their new lamb, and they don't realise they're having another lamb, and they oddly just nothing seems to progress. So we do sometimes intervene at that moment to try and lamb the second lamb out. Okay, you can see here, I'm just going to see if there's anything else. So yeah, up the back there, you can see just in that very back corner, just here, you can see how she's just straining and putting her nose up. She's behaving quite differently from the rest. I would say she's definitely lambing, or at least thinking about lambing. You can see her manners different. The rest of them are, for example, you can see this ewe here, she's just, they call it just chewing away, quite contented. That's a good sign in the sheep. But yeah, this ewe here, you can see the lip rolling as well. These are all signs that she's starting to lamb. Ah yes, and then you can just see there at her back end a water balloon. So that's just the fluid that the lamb's been in. I can see by looking at her that she's been a mum before. And she's just looking for somewhere quiet and out the way to have her lambs, as she would do in the wild. So I'm just going to let her get on with it just now. Again, we don't intervene unless we think there's a problem. If she was doing that in half an hour's time, I would catch her up and just check everything's okay. By that I mean just checking that, for example, the lamb's not breech and maybe stuck just in an awkward position. Sometimes the other day we had ones with pairs where we had a head and boar legs. The head was from the first lamb with its own front legs, and then obviously the front legs of the other lamb. So sometimes it can be a bit of a jumble. Okay, so we'll come back and check on both of them. This one here, meantime, is just chilling. You can see there that ewe now is, she doesn't really know what she wants to do, because she's obviously, her body is telling her to have this other lamb, and I can see she was looking there for a moment just to think, I'm going to just lie down. But then she's got distracted again looking at her lamb, so it's quite difficult, I think, for them to figure out exactly what they should be doing. You can see here we've just got some more ewes and lambs. Again, everything fairly quiet. This little guy's not got a care in the world, have you? No. Just chilling out. There we go. And that's the sign there. I don't know if you just saw that there. That lamb, when it got up, had a massive stretch, a big arch of its back, and that's a good sign. It's a good sign that lamb's feeling fit and well. It's had a feed, happy. You can see that lamb's bright in the eye. You can see the iodine's just coming off there, and you can just see where there that cord's dried right up. And that's good. Again, you can tell it's passing dung, and you can see that the lamb there is likely saying to his mum, please get up, I would like some milk. So I can see there that ewe is still just She's just thinking what she might want to do. And meanwhile, the one that we just saw there, you can see her just there. She's just working away with her lamb. Okay, so I'm going to take you to a different angle now. So back out to the main. I'm just going to take you, we'll try and stay with that yow. This bit is normally everybody's favourite bit of the yard. It's our pets, and we do have a lot of pets this year, sadly. Well, I suppose sadly and not sadly. I mean, always grateful for every life on the farm, but ideally we would like them to be with mothers. The reason we have so many this year is a mix of reasons. The first is that we had 48 yows scanned in lamb with triplets. Now, we don't always take a lamb off a triplet. A yow has 2 teats, but there are plenty of yows can manage 3 lambs themselves. It is hard on them though, and can be difficult, and we have to make a decision about genuinely, are the lambs all the same size? My goodness, it's lunchtime. Are the lambs all the same size, in that is it a weak one, which sometimes there can be with triplets? We tend to, if we take one off, we try and find them a mum. So the single yow, the yows having 1 lamb, we try and pair on a second lamb where appropriate. And by that I mean if that yow is enough milk. We separated the pet's pen out because we were finding that some of these bigger lambs, the ones that have either been rescued from the fields in the rain and brought back to, well, they had a few of them had hypothermia, so it would now be too difficult for them to go back to their mum. We've got them in here, and then the little lambs that maybe just been born, or fragile lambs, we've separated them out to here, because what we found was the big guys were just stealing the heat lamps and the little guys weren't getting any space. So you can just see here that little guy right in the middle of that bundle. I think he's the smallest lamb we've ever seen, and he's doing great. He couldn't reach the feeder, was a bit of an issue. Oh, sorry, should rather look at the lambs. There we go. And you can see the light they're under is just a heat lamp. They spend a lot of time under there, and you can see these guys are just much stronger. It will be harder to find these guys' mums now, because they've now got very used to being handled by us. They've got used to the milk machine. This is just if you see, because there's so many lambs, it would take forever to bottle feed them 6 times a day. So what we do is this, it just has got warm water in the bottom, and you put a bucket on top, and we fill this up with milk a couple of times a day for them. And I'm just going to, these lambs, hopefully though, we will try our best to find them all mums, because it is better for them, and equally financially for us, it's, you know, it's cheaper to put them on a yow that's got milk than have to buy milk in. You know, a 20 kilo bag of milk I think is around £55–60. We always allocate out 1 bag of milk almost per lamb to raise it onto the grass. So if you've got 40 lambs, it's a lot of money. Just gonna go up here to see if we can see anything here. Now I can just see there's a head, but I am not seeing any feet. This is always really handy to happen when you've got a camera and no help. So I know my husband's watching this. I don't know if somebody could come out, Andrew, because I'll not be able to do everything. This yow here, you can see that she's still mothering that lamb there. Hi Kate, is Andrew hiding? No, I made pasta for lunch, and I think they're enjoying the pasta and all watching me talking about our own sheep, because that's also what we do. So I'm going to go and try to see if I can get somebody, and if not, I'll have to do it myself with you guys with me. So that's always fun. That's where you do the steer at the house. That was a look. So yeah, I think we'll have to intervene here. Because the one thing is that yow will not be able to have a lamb if it's not got any legs coming with it. So what I mean is the head is coming out first, but it should be coming out ideally with its 2 legs right in front, as if you're diving, just the same as like diving into the swimming pool. That's what you want. When you don't have when it's just a head, the lamb is likely to be stuck by the shoulders because of the extra legs and everything else in the cervix. So, just in time. My husband Andrew.
Hello.
Did you finish your lunch? Just.
Is the other one okay?
Yeah. Yeah, the other one's fine. So yeah, I'll turn this round and we're just gonna try and catch her up. It just looked like let's just have a little look.
It's the head, isn't it? Right.
Oh, it's a foot that's stuck.
Okay.
So we can just see here,
You want to do it?
well, yeah, there's a leg back. Whoa. Oh. You can see there's one leg. Oh, there's a leg.
What's happening, Jojo?
It's just going to come with one leg back. We can do that. Oh. You can see here the lamb is quite a strange colour. It's the meconium, which shows that the lamb's been under a bit of stress whilst being in the womb and during the birth process. But it's taking a breath straight away, which is great. I'll talk you through the next one.
That's good.
Yep, so that's good. I think she would have struggled to pass that herself, just the way, the angle that the leg was. See here, this is Maurice as well. Maurice is in her final year of she's a veterinary student from Belgium, in Ghent University, so she comes over here because she just loves sheep. Oh. You see here. I'm just looking back over that yow while we're here too, but you can see there's nothing wrong. That lamb will be safe inside as long as the umbilical cord stays attached.
As far as I'm going to come out. It's all there, just busy. Push, here we go.
Oh yeah, so Andrew's found the other lamb.
He's want to stay inside in a day like this. You don't blame him.
Yeah, you can see already how it's great to see. There we go. You can see we're not pulling it out, we're letting her push and we're just supporting that.
You've got the
Yep, and now the reason Andrew's just swinging the lamb back and forward is the lamb's it's been at the back inside his mum. And you can see he's got quite a lot of fluid on him and that just clears his lungs, just use gravity. And just trying to squeeze out all the gunk. Again, there's the iodine solution. Just keen to get him to breathe.
Yeah, he's going.
He's breathing fine. Andrew quite often puts a little bit of straw just up their nostril to try and get them to sneeze. Because with a sneeze they take a breath in, there we go. And that inflates their lungs right up and gets them going. So that's a great outcome. That's great.
They're a wee
bit past their time.
Yeah.
Big, and then just the colour of, they're quite dark. They're not often like that. And you can see here, Mum's here, so we're just going to move them straight into a pen. Here. We'll just follow her through. They are big lambs, Kate. Their singles are getting bigger and bigger too. So yeah, it's really important for us to keep an eye out on them all the time. Just as an example like that, you know, a head had a knuckle coming forward, but she would have really struggled. If the cord breaks, then that's obviously the oxygen supply gone for the lamb, and that's you're on a very short time scale there to rectify that. So you can see there, she's a great mum, mothering them all. That's just what they need to get up. She'll clean them all up, get them all dry. And it's great to see the lambs with their heads up. I always think they're quite amazing compared to humans. Compared to how quickly they get up on their feet. But it's a survival instinct in them. And that's fantastic. And I'm really glad that you all got to share that with us. Again, these are the wee things that keep you going, but equally make it so devastating when the weather is causing so much carnage outside, when it takes a lot of work to get it to this point. Thanks everyone for such lovely comments and positivity. I think we're all needing it just now. And you can see here that lambs are up. It's quite common for them to do that. You can see the guy there just having a nibble of the bedding. I've seen them do that a lot. Then they'll go back to the lambs. So I'm going to leave because I don't want to interrupt that time. Yeah, I'm really pleased that you all got to share that with us. We'll just nip back down here. I think she's maybe just had it. Did she have it? Oh, great. And you can see this yow that we knew we were waiting on the second one. Oh, that's great. So you can see there's a second one that's just come out. You can see just some gunk coming out its nose, but mum's a great mum. You can just see the bubbles coming out of the lamb's nose. Clear that off, but that's just the fluid in the mother sac. And we'll let these guys go into a pen. So thanks very much for joining us. I hope you find it interesting. I like to see Maurice are quite often the ones that are good mums will follow. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's been good fun, particularly on a wet day. And yeah, do let us know through Go Rural, or check out, we've got a Logie Farm Facebook page. Equally, we've got holiday accommodation, so if you ever want to stay and see the lambs in the fields, you'll find that at the Snug at Logie Farm. Anyway, have a great day everyone, and thanks again. Bye!